Dear students, today our topic is Planck quantum theory in modern physics. In previous lecture, we discussed black body spectrum, which was found experimentally, and to explain the black body radiation or black body spectrum, we discussed two laws, which were the classical laws, and these were the Wien's law. These were the Wien's law, and another was the Rayleigh-Jeans law. Another was Rayleigh-Jeans law. Rayleigh-Jeans law. And when we started to explain the black body spectrum, where on the x-axis we have lambda and on the y-axis we have the radiancy, that is the energy emitted per unit surface area per unit time, then the spectrum looks like this. And if we apply the Wien's law to explain this black body spectrum, then we found that it is suitable at the shorter wavelength. At the shorter wavelength, Wien's law is able to explain the spectrum, while Rayleigh-Jeans law can explain the spectrum at the larger wavelength. But together with both the laws, one cannot explain the full spectrum of the black body, which was obtained experimentally. Therefore, now we need another theory or another hypothesis to explain the black body spectrum, and this hypothesis was given by Planck in 1900 and which is known as the Planck quantum theory. So now today we will discuss the Planck quantum theory. So this Planck quantum theory is, let us write Planck quantum theory. Planck quantum theory. This can be also written as Planck hypothesis. Planck's hypothesis or quantum hypothesis, or Planck's radiation law. Planck's radiation law. Radiation law. So all these three are similar, and now let us see what are the main features of the Planck quantum theory. Few features we have already discussed. The first feature is that he has assumed that there are atomic oscillators in the wall of black body. And then second is, these oscillators emit certain frequency which is characteristic of the oscillator. Then each frequency corresponds to a mode. Each frequency corresponds to a mode. And next is, for a given frequency, only certain energy values are possible. Certain energy values are possible. And these values are given by E is equal to N H nu, where N is integer. So this we have already discussed in the basic hypothesis of the Planck quantum theory in the previous lecture, that all energy values are not possible for a given frequency, but only certain energy values are possible, and these are known as the quanta. This packets of energy is known as the quanta, which is given by NH nu. So N is here integer, and then H is the Planck constant, nu is the frequency. So H nu frequency is possible, then 2 H nu, then 3 H nu, and so on, and all are not possible. And one more is that the energy is emitted or absorbed only when oscillator jumps from one state to another. Oscillator jumps from one state to another. So these are the basic hypotheses of the Planck quantum theory, and now taking all these hypotheses, we will proceed further to derive the energy density formula for the Planck quantum theory. So in the previous lecture, when we were discussing about the Wien's law or the Rayleigh-Jeans law, then we derived the term like U lambda d lambda or U nu d nu. So now you know the meaning of U lambda d lambda. U lambda d lambda means it is the energy density within the range lambda and lambda plus d lambda. Energy density means energy per unit volume. And in a similar way, when we write U nu d nu, it means that it is the energy density within the range nu and nu plus d nu. So now we are interested in finding these values, that is U lambda d lambda or U nu d nu, that is the energy density in a given range of the frequency or wavelength using Planck quantum theory. So let us derive it. So energy density U nu d nu can be written as the number of modes per unit volume within range nu and nu plus d nu, and this whole multiplied by average energy per mode, for the oscillator. All these calculations are for the oscillator. So Now we are deriving Planck's quantum theory. So let us write here Planck's quantum theory. Planck's quantum theory. So our first step is to calculate the number of modes per unit volume within range nu and nu plus d mu. So now let us put another heading, that is the calculation of number of modes per unit volume within range. So I am writing in short, but you can write in the full sentence, within the range nu and nu plus d nu. Now to calculate the modes, we will use the similar condition as it was in the wave generation in the string. Wave generation in the clamped string. In clamped string, clamped on both sides, both end, clamped on both end. So let us recall the problem of wave generation in the clamped string. If a string is, let us say, clamped on the two end, and if we produce any wave like this, then this wave will move in the forward direction, then it will be reflected back because it is clamped, therefore it cannot proceed further, so it will get reflected back, and again it will come to this side, and again it will be reflected back. So there is a back and forth motion of the wave, within two ends, within both ends, and therefore the wave will look like this. It will be like this. The second wave will be like this. So all these few waves are moving in this direction and few waves are moving in this direction, and the superposition of the two will form a pattern like this, which is this pattern is the stationary wave. So it is no more a traveling wave, but now the pattern is the stationary wave. Wave is the stationary wave. So in this stationary wave, you may recall that the wavelength of this stationary wave is given by 2L by m. The wavelength of this stationary wave is given by 2L by m, where L is the length of the string, and n be the integer. So in black body radiation problem, it is the similar condition, that is the radiation is emitted in the black body, then it will be reflected back by the wall of the body and again reflected back by the another side of the wall, and therefore again there is a back and forth motion of the wave inside the black body, and therefore the problem is similar to the problem of the spring, and a stationary wave is formed. So wavelength of this stationary wave is given by lambda is equal to 2L by m. Now to proceed further, we assume that our black body is in form of a cube. So let us assume that our black body is a cubicle, cubical one with the dimension A. So the volume is A cube. Because the dimension is A, therefore volume will be A cube. Now it is a cubical, so in one dimension the length is A, and therefore the formula will be, in each direction we can write the formula. So the lambda will be 2A upon n1, and then in another direction it will be lambda is equal to 2A by n2, and then it will be lambda is equal to 2A upon n3, where n1, n2, n3 are integers. But if the wave is not moving perfectly in the xyz direction, means if the wave direction makes an angle of alpha, beta and gamma with xyz direction, with x, y and z direction, then instead of writing lambda is equal to 2A by n1, we will write the projection of the x direction, a projection of x in the wave propagation direction, and in terms of the alpha, beta, gamma. So now we have the new equations, like lambda is equal to 2A cos alpha divided by n1, and then in second direction it will be 2A cos beta divided by n2, and then lambda is equal to 2A cos gamma divided by n3. So our new equation is given by these expressions, and we have one more equation here. Alpha, beta, gamma are the direction cosines, and for the direction cosines we know that there is a formula like cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma. This is equal to 1. So now let us substitute the values of cos square alpha, cos square beta and cos square gamma using these equations. So we can write now lambda n1 by 2A whole square plus lambda n2 upon 2A whole square plus lambda n3 upon 2A whole square, and this is equal to 1. So we can take lambda by 2A common, and then we have n1 square plus n2 square plus n3 square, and this is equal to 4. This is equal to 4A square upon lambda square. 4A square upon lambda square. Now if we change this lambda in terms of the nu, then we know that lambda is equal to c by nu, where c is the speed of light and nu is the frequency. So now if we replace it, then it will be 4A square nu square upon c square. So n1 square plus n2 square plus n3 square is now equal to 4A square nu square upon c square, or this can also be written as 2A nu upon c whole square, upon c whole square. So what are the number of modes for a given frequency? For a given frequency of nu, there will be different sets or different combinations of n1, n2 and n3 which can satisfy this equation. So we have to find out the different combinations of n1, n2, n3 to give this equation, that is n1 square plus n2 square plus n3 square is equal to 2A nu by c whole square, and that will be the number of modes. Now let us proceed further. So we have the equation, previous equation, like n1 square plus n2 square plus n3 square is equal to 2a nu by c whole square. Now to calculate the number of modes, we will proceed in 2 dimension. So let us take the problem in 2 dimension only, 2 dimension, and then we will further elaborate the result for the 3 dimension. So in the 2 dimension, our equation is n1 square plus n2 square is equal to 2a nu by c whole square. So this equation is similar to the equation of the circle. It is similar to the equation of circle, which is x square plus y square is equal to let us say it is r square. X square plus y square is equal to r square, where r be the radius of the circle given by this equation. So this equation represents the same equation as the equation of the circle. So let us plot the graph. So we will calculate the number of modes in a geometrical manner. So on the x-axis we have n1, and on the y-axis we have n2. So let us mark it like 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, up to 10. And on the y-axis again let us take it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is also on the n2. This graph is not, this scale is not similar, but let us assume that these spacings are similar. We have to draw the similar here on this axis and this axis. Now if we draw the circle, then this circle will be a quadrant. We have to draw a full circle taking the radius 2a nu by c with this origin, and this radius, so radius is given by 2a nu by c. Radius means now the radius is equal to 2a nu by c. Now also draw the this horizontal and vertical lines here. And this will explain how we will calculate the number of modes, how one can calculate the number of modes using this geometrical methods. Now the vertical lines corresponding to all values of n1, So what I have said in the starting, that the combination of n1 and n2 which will satisfy this equation, that combination will be the number of modes, means all the intercepts. So this is the intercept of n1 n2, and this is also the intercept of the n1 n2. So the number of intercepts actually give us the number of modes, number of intercepts means it is the number of modes. So why it is so? Because at the intercepts it is the guarantee that the value of n1 and n2 will be an integer one, because we can take only those values of n1 and n2 which are integer values. So at these intercepts, these are integer, means at first intercept n is equal to 1 and n1 is 1, n2 is also 1, then at this point n1 is 2 and n2 is 1. So in a similar way we can see that all these intercepts, the value of n1 and n2 are integers. Therefore, we can take those points. And this statement is similar to the statement that is the number of squares, full squares, number of full squares in the quadrant, 1/4 of the circle. The number of squares in this full squares in this plot is similar to the number of intercepts or number of the modes. Now what will be the area of these squares? The area of a single square, that will be 1 into 1, because on the x-axis it is 1 and on the y-axis also it is 1. So it is 1 into 1, means it is the 1 unit. The area is 1 unit. So number of modes is equal to the total area of the quadrant, and that divided by the area of one square. So this will give us the number of squares, and number of squares means it is the number of modes. Then the area of a single square, Now go to the next page. The radius of this is given by this circle which we have drawn. The radius of the circle is equal to 2a nu by c. This is the radius, and therefore number of modes is equal to 1/4 into the area, and area is pi r square, so 1/4 into pi and then r square. R square means 4a square nu square by c square, and this whole divided by the area of a single square which is 1 unit, so divided by 1. So now we have pi a square nu square by c square, pi a square nu square by c square. So this pi a square nu square by c square represents the number of modes, and this is for the within the range 0 to nu. Now let us recall the previous graph. Let us plot it again. So I have drawn like this the quadrant. Here it is n1 and here it is n2, and this is the radius, and the radius is given by 2a nu by c, and I have calculated the number of squares within this area. So this area means the frequency range is from 0 to nu. Frequency is changing from 0 to nu, and therefore it will form the complete area. And the squares which are outside this area, this quadrant, means the frequency is more than nu, and within this, under this quadrant, it is 0 to nu. So what we have find here, the number of modes, it is within nu, 0 to nu, within 0 to nu frequency, and we have to calculate the number of modes within range nu and nu plus d nu. So how we can do this? So for the nu we have already drawn this circle. This circle represents the nu, and for nu plus d nu we have to draw another circle. With the radius, with the radius nu and nu plus d nu. Nu plus d nu means it is 2a nu plus d nu, and this divided by c. So this is the another radius, a bigger circle, and now we have to find the number of modes within nu and nu plus d nu, means within this area. Within this area we have to calculate the number of modes. So how we will proceed? For this, it will be number of modes will be only this much area. In the previous calculation we have used all these area. All this area was chosen for 0 to nu, but now we have to proceed for only nu and nu plus d nu, means only this is small area, and this is small area means the 1/4 area of this big circle and minus the area of the inner circle. So it will be 1/4 pi r square. So it is a square by c square can be taken common, and then it will be nu plus d nu whole square, and then minus nu square, and of course divided by 1. So divided by 1 will give the same thing. So let us leave this, and there will be also a 4 here, this 4. So 4 get cancelled, and so let us remove this 4, and we are left with pi a square by c square, and then this bracket. So let us open this bracket. So it will be nu square plus 2 nu d nu plus d nu square minus nu square. So again this nu square get cancelled, and we are left with pi a square by c square, and then d nu whole square. It is d nu whole square. D nu is a very small quantity, and so if we take the square of d nu, then it will be even more smaller quantity. So we can neglect this. We can neglect this quantity, and we are left with only 2 nu d nu. So it is only 2 nu d nu. So now the number of modes is 2 pi a square nu d nu and divided by c square. So this is the result. The number of modes within the range nu and nu plus d nu is given by 2 pi a square nu d nu by c square. So we can get the same result quickly by using this formula. By using this formula, that the number of modes directly we can calculate it. Number of modes within the range 0 to nu is equal to pi a square nu square by c square, and therefore number of modes within the range nu and nu plus d nu is the differentiation of this. Let us differentiate it. So it is pi a square by c square, and then with respect to nu, so it will be 2 nu d nu. So the same result we get, that is 2 pi a square nu d nu and divided by c square, divided by c square. So this result is similar to this result. So either one can proceed in this manner. It is a big or it is a lengthy procedure to calculate the number of modes in this manner, or we can just by differentiating we can get the same result. So what we have done so far, that is the number of modes in 2 dimension, number of modes in 2 dimension, but actually we are interested in finding the number of modes in 3 dimension, because our problem is not a 2-dimensional problem, but it is 3-dimensional problem. So number of modes in 3 dimension. Our main objective is to calculate the number of modes in 3 dimension. So we will proceed in a similar way. We will draw a graphical plot in the 3 dimension on the 3 axis x, y, z using n1, n2, n3. So in the two dimension case, we have used only n1 and n2. Now we have to use n1, n2, n3 in the three dimension of the same spacing 1, 1, 1. So instead of the square, now we have the cube. We have cube. So the number of cubes will represents the number of modes, and instead of the area of quadrant, area of 1 by 4 circle, now it will be 1 by 8 volume, 1 by 8 volume of sphere, So let us compare both the case of the two dimension and three dimension. So in the case of two dimension, we had circle, but in case of three dimension, now we have sphere. Instead of circle, now we have sphere of the same radius, 2a nu upon c, of the same radius 2a nu upon c. Radius will be 2a nu by c. This will be the radius. So instead of the square, now we will have cube, and instead of the area of square, now we have volume of cube, and again this volume will be of 1 unit, because it is n1 into n2 into n3, and n1 spacing is 1, n2 spacing is 1, and n3 spacing is also 1. So it is 1 into 1 into 1, means it is the 1. The cube volume of cube is a small cube is 1 unit. So now we can write that the number of modes within range 0 to nu, this will be 1 by 8 into volume of sphere of radius is equal to 2a nu by c. This be the radius, and this divided by number of cubes in this volume. So let us write what will be the volume. It will be 1 by 8 and then 4 pi by 3 r cube means it is 2a nu by c whole cube, and divided by 1. So 1 means nothing, so it will be 1 by 8, 4 pi by 3 and 8 a cube nu cube divided by c cube. So this 8 and 8 get cancelled, and we are left with 4 pi a cube divided by c cube into nu cube. So this is the result, number of modes. And if we write it as number of modes per unit volume, because we have to calculate the energy density. So energy density means energy per unit volume. So we will calculate number of modes per unit volume. So here a cube is the volume, because we have assumed our black body as a cubic one with the dimension a, and therefore the volume of this black body is a cube. So if we divide this a cube with the number of modes, then it will be number of modes per unit volume, and that will be 4 pi by c cube into nu cube. So this is the formula. But finally we have to calculate number of modes per unit volume within range nu and nu plus d nu. This represents within the range 0 to nu, but we have to find number of modes per unit volume within the range nu and nu plus d nu. So what we will do, we will proceed with a shorter formula or shorter step, that is we will take the differentiation. If we go with the length step, it means that we have to draw another sphere with the radius nu plus d nu, with the radius 2a nu plus d nu by c whole cube, and then the volume between the two sphere will give the area, and that divided by the number of cubes will give the actual modes. But we will proceed in the shorter step, and therefore we will just differentiate it. So let us differentiate it. So it will be here, it is also 3 here, 4 pi by 3. So 3 is also there. So it is 4 pi by 3, and then 4 pi by 3. 4 pi by 3 c cube, and then v cube. V cube means differentiation with respect to nu. So it will be 3 nu square. 3 nu square d nu. So this 3 and 3 get cancelled, and we are left with 4 pi by c cube nu square d nu. 4 pi by c cube nu square upon d nu. So this is the number of modes, 4 pi by c cube nu square upon nu square d nu. So we have calculated the number of modes. So let us write here number of modes per unit volume within range nu and nu plus d nu, and that is equal to 4 pi by c cube nu square d nu. So this represents the number of modes. So our first step is completed. Now we have to go for the second step, but before going to the second step, we must take into account the transverse nature of the radiation. Transverse nature of radiation. This is electromagnetic radiation, and electromagnetic radiation is the transverse wave. And for the transverse wave, there is two state of polarization or two modes of polarization. So while writing the number of modes, we have to multiply it by 2 also. So number of modes per unit volume within the range nu and nu plus d nu. This will be this formula which we have derived and then multiplied by 2. So now it will become 8 pi by c cube nu square d nu. So this is our equation, or this is our term, the final term for the number of modes, which is 8 pi nu square by c cube d nu. Now we have to calculate, or we have to go for another step, that is the calculation of average energy per mode. So for this, let us say capital E be the total energy, capital E, and then number of modes is equal to capital N, then the average energy per mode, and that is equal to E bar, and that is E total energy divided by the number of modes. So it is the total energy divided by number of modes. So now go to the next page. Now using the distribution law. Distribution law. We know that the number of particles having energy E is proportional to e to the power minus beta e to the power minus beta e, or E by kt minus E by kt, that is proportional to e to the power minus E by kt. So in our problem we are not write the sentence like number of particles, but we will write as number of modes. So in our case, in the present case, it is the number of modes having energy E is proportional to e to the power minus E by kt. So any number of modes, let us say n dash, which some constant, let us say capital X into e will capital X into e to the power minus E by kt. So n dash represents the number of modes having the energy E, and if we take our energy as 0, if we take our energy is 0, and let us say in that case n dash is equal to n naught. So what will be this equation corresponding to E is equal to 0? This will be n naught is equal to the constant X and then e to the power minus 0 by kt. E to the power minus 0 means 1. So it is simply X. It means that the constant X is equal to n naught. And what is n naught? N naught means the number of modes. N naughts represents the number of modes having energy, number of modes having energy 0, so X value X means this constant is equivalent to n naught. So now we can write that for H energy H nu, or energy, let us say E1. For energy E1, the number of modes N1 will be equal to N naught into e to the power minus E1 by kt, and for N2 it will be N naught e to the power minus E2 by kt, and so on. So if our frequency is nu, then the energy will be H nu. Energy can take value as H nu, 2H nu, 3H nu, and so on. So our values N1 is equal to N naught e to the power minus H nu by kt, and then N2 is equal to N naught e to the power minus 2H nu by kt, and then N3 is equal to N naught e to the power minus 3H nu by kt, and so on. And then this N1, N2, N3 and all these values are equivalent to the total number of modes. This N1, N2, N3 represents the number of modes. So the total number of modes we have assumed as capital N. So capital N is equal to N naught plus N1 plus N2 plus N3 and so on. N naught means number of modes having energy 0. N1 means number of modes having energy H nu. N2 means number of modes having energy 2H nu. N3 means number of modes having energy 3H nu. So let us write the values. So N naught means it will remain as N naught. Then n1 means it is n naught into e to the power minus h nu by kt, and n2 means it is n naught into e to the power minus 2 h nu by kt, and then n3 means it is n naught into e to the power minus 3 h nu by kt, and so on and so on. So this can also be written as n naught plus n naught into e to the power minus, let us write it as e by kt in a shorter form, plus n naught into e to the power minus 2e by kt plus n naught e to the power minus 3e by kt, and so on. Now let us assume y is equal to e to the power minus e by kt, and then substitute the value of e to the power minus e by kt as y in this equation. So n will be equal to n naught plus n naught y plus n naught y square plus n naught y cube, and so on. Take n naught as common, then within bracket we have 1 plus y square plus y cube, and so on. And this represents a series GP, geometric progression. So for infinite terms, so the summation will be n naught into the first term divided by 1 minus the multiplication factor, which is y. Y is the multiplication factor. So the summation is n naught into 1 upon 1 minus y. N naught into 1 upon 1 minus y. Now let us recall that what we are going to calculate. We are going to calculate the average energy, E bar, which is equal to E divided by capital N. E means the total energy of the system at the black body, and N be the number of modes, total number of the modes. So we have calculated this capital N, and now we have to calculate the total energy. So for calculating total energy, let us go to the next page and put the heading calculation of total energy. Calculation of total energy. Total energy, E. So how we can calculate it? So E is equal to n naught into 0, because the n naught modes have 0 energy. So n naught into 0 plus n1 mode have the energy, n1 modes have the energy E, plus n2 modes have energy 2E, plus n3 modes have energy 3E, and so on. Now let us substitute all these values. So n naught will be 0. So let us make it as 0 and cancel this term. The first term is 0, and we will proceed with the second term. So this second term will be now first term. So instead of n1 we will write n naught into e to the power minus e by kt into e plus n2 means it is n naught into e to the power minus 2e by kt into 2e plus n3, which is n naught into e to the power minus 3e by kt into 3e, and plus 1. So we can take common n naught into e, and then we have within bracket it is e to the power minus e by kt and plus 2 e to the power minus 2e by kt plus 3 e to the power minus 3e by kt, and so on. So n naught into e, and then instead of e to the power minus e kt we will again write y. So it is y plus 2y plus 3y and so on. So this represents again another series y plus 2y plus 3y, and the value of this series is n naught e, and the value will be y upon 1 minus y whole square, 1 minus y whole square. So now we can calculate the average energy E bar, which is equal to E upon n, and we have the value of E, which is n naught into E into y upon 1 minus y whole square, and this divided by n, and the value of n is so let us write here the result of the last page, that is value of n is equal to n naught into 1 upon 1 minus y, 1 upon 1 minus y. So it is in the denominator, so it will be n naught into denominator, and 1 minus y will go here. So now n naught and n naught get cancelled, and then it is e y upon 1 minus y. So the result is e y upon 1 minus y. So with this result, let us go to the another page. Our result is that E bar is equal to e y upon 1 minus y, and we know that E means it is the h nu. E means it is h nu. So let us substitute the value of y. So value of y is E, and then y means e to the power minus e by kt, and this divided by 1 minus e to the power minus e by kt. So if we divide the numerator and denominator by the factor e to the power minus e by kt, then it will become e, and then divided by, in the numerator it will become e to the power e by kt, and then minus 1. So this can also be written like this: average energy is E bar is equal to E upon e to the power e by kt minus 1. And if we substitute the value of E, which is h nu, so it will be h nu divided by e to the power h nu by kt minus 1. So this is the average energy. This represents the average energy. So energy density can be written like U nu d nu. U nu d nu means the energy density within the range, within the frequency range nu and nu plus d nu, and this is equal to the number of modes per unit volume within the frequency range nu and nu plus d nu multiplied by the average energy per mode. So we have the number of modes. So let us write the expression of the number of modes, which is 8 pi nu square upon c square, c cube into d nu. So this is the number of modes, and then the average energy per mode h nu e to the power h nu by kt minus 1. So this expression represents the result, that is the energy density. Now we can associate this nu with this nu, and taking all the constant at one place, so it will be 8 pi h divided by c cube, 8 pi h upon c cube, and then nu cube, and then within bracket it is e to the power h nu by kt minus 1, and then d nu. So this is the expression. This is the expression for the energy density. This is the expression for the energy density. Now we can convert it within the range of lambda. So for doing that, we have to do some manipulation. We know that nu is equal to c by lambda. Therefore d nu is equal to minus c by lambda square into d lambda, and let us take mod of this. So instead of d nu we will write here, c by lambda square, and instead of the nu cube we will write c cube upon lambda cube. So if we do this, then we have the energy density u lambda d lambda, means within the range lambda and lambda plus d lambda. So if we write here, instead of nu, if we write c cube upon lambda cube, then this c cube and c cube get cancelled, and we will be left with 8 pi h divided by lambda cube, 8 pi h divided by lambda cube, and then we will also have c by lambda square. So c by lambda square means here we will have the c and lambda square here, this is the multiplication, and then 1 upon e to the power h c upon lambda kt, hc upon lambda kt minus 1. So combining the two lambda square, now our result is 8 pi hc divided by lambda to the power 5 into 1 upon e to the power hc upon lambda kt minus 1. So this is the final result, u lambda d lambda. So this is what we were interested to calculate. So now again go to next page, and let us write here our final result, that is u lambda d lambda is equal to 8 pi hc upon lambda to the power 5, and then 1 upon e to the power hc upon lambda kt minus 1. So this is the energy density, and this energy density we have calculated using Planck quantum theory. Now we can deduce Wien's law and Rayleigh-Jean's law with the formula of Planck quantum theory. So let us first deduce Wien's law. So this Wien's law is true for the shorter wavelength. So shorter wavelength means if the value of lambda is small, then this factor hc upon lambda kt will be a large factor. So let us take it as e to the power something very large, means this factor is large in comparison to 1. So if this factor is large in comparison to 1, it means that we can neglect 1 here. So in the shorter wavelength range, we can neglect 1 in comparison to this factor. So in such case, u lambda d lambda will become, it will be 8 pi hc upon lambda to the power 5, and then e to the power minus hc upon lambda kt, because now we have no 1 value, so it will go in the numerator as e to the power minus hc upon lambda kt into d lambda. So let us compare with the previous result of the Wien's law. It is similar to this. The previous result was a upon lambda to the power 5, and then e to the power minus b some constant upon lambda lambda kt or lambda t. I think it was e to the power minus b upon lambda t, because k is included in this hc in the constant. So it is e to the power minus b upon lambda t. So this was into d lambda. So this was the Wien's law. So we can deduce Wien's law using Planck quantum theory in the shorter wavelength region. Now let us go for the Rayleigh-Jean's law. Rayleigh-Jean's law it is valid in the longer wavelength limit, longer lambda limit. So in the longer lambda limit, longer lambda means now this lambda is this lambda is large, therefore this factor is small. This e to the power hc by lambda kt, this factor exponent, the power of the exponent is small. So if the power of exponent is small, it is e to the power x, and if x is small, then we can write it as 1 plus x plus so on. We can expand such thing, the exponent. If x is small, then it is 1 plus x square and so on. So and then we can neglect all the higher order terms, x square, x cube. So it is like 1 plus x. So in such case, u lambda d lambda will be 8 pi hc upon lambda 5, and then 1 upon here it will be 1 plus x. So 1 plus x means hc upon lambda kt, and higher terms are neglected, therefore we will neglect all other terms, and then we have minus 1. So minus 1 get cancelled, and we are left only with hc upon lambda kt. So now it is 8 pi hc upon lambda 5, and then it will be lambda kt divided by hc. So now what will happen? And then d lambda, and then d lambda. So now our result is 8 pi kt, 8 pi kt, this hc get cancelled, 8 pi kt, and then lambda and lambda 5 means lambda 4, lambda to the power 4 into d lambda. So this is similar to our previous result of the Rayleigh gene. So what we see that using the Planck quantum theory, we can deduce both the Wien's law and the Rayleigh gene's law. So now let us come again to the black body radiation, the spectrum of the black body radiation, which was observed experimentally. So on the x-axis it is the wavelength, on the y-axis it is the radiancy. Radiancy means it is the energy per unit time, per unit surface area of the black body, and our spectrum is like this. It is like this. So this is the experimental observation, and the Wien's law is valid in this region. So if we plot the Wien's law, the spectrum using the Wien's law, then it will be like this. That is, at the shorter wavelength it is close to the observed value or the experimental value, but if we go for the longer limit, then the value is less than the experimental value. And if we go for the Rayleigh gene's law, then it is like this. It is like this. That is, there is deviation at the shorter wavelength, but there is agreement towards the longer wavelength limit. So this dotted line means it is the representation of the Rayleigh gene's law, and this dotted line is for the Wien's law. So, and this solid line means it is the experimental result. So Wien's law and Rayleigh gene's law both cannot explain the experimental result, but the Planck quantum theory can explain the whole result. So the solid line is equivalent to the Planck quantum theory. This is equivalent to the Planck quantum theory or Planck's law. So Planck's law can explain black body radiation, while Wien's law and Rayleigh gene's law, which were the classical law and they have assumed the classical theory, they cannot explain the black body spectrum. So in this way we can say that Planck's quantum theory is able to explain the black body radiation. So now let us stop here, and in the next lecture we will discuss the photoelectric effect, which is the another phenomena which could not be explained on the basis of the classical theory, but this can be explained successfully on the basis of the Planck quantum theory. So let us stop here.